Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about how to make reading pleasurable. We are going to look at the answer to this question presented by Pamuk in his essays compiled under the name of Other Colors. Pamuk is one of the greatest writers of our age. He has made his name mostly through his novels, but his essays are also as impressive as his novels. In his essays on reading, he provides details about his reading journey, addressing different questions and concerns from his youth up until his old age. In the essay entitled On Reading, Words or Images, he explains why he read for pleasure in his youth and still does. In it, he presents different reasons for making reading pleasurable and how he derived pleasure in his reading. So let's look at some of them. The first reason he gives that makes reading pleasurable for him is escapism. Reading is not same as watching films or listening to podcasts. It has a different flavor to it because it involves reading of the words without the concern that the other scene will be missed, as in the case of watching a film. Therefore, reflection is necessitated when we read. On the other hand, reading does not involve inflections of voice as when listening to the podcast or radio. Therefore, the manner in which we sound the written words in our heads is informed by two faculties, imagination and memory. Reading is an experience where the text is just the mediator between the reader and his or herself in the purest form possible. That cannot be attained through watching films or listening to radio or podcasts. That is not to say that films and podcasts are not worth it. In fact, this audio you listen to now is a podcast. But you see, while you are listening to me, you already know through my tone how much I love Pamuk. This does not happen immediately in reading. Anyways, getting back to Pamuk's idea of reading as escapism, he informs us that he used to get bored of his mundane routine and would keep a book always by his side to read a passage or two just to get away from this world into another world. This ready-to-hand access to the other world within a matter of instant is nothing short of miracle. Only readers could understand what it feels like when after a tiring, frustrating run of events, one reads a passage and suddenly everything seems to fall in place. There is a broad smile on lips with the realization that what if life is so tedious? I have this book with me. Pamuk narrates many incidents of this kind in his essays. After escapism, he turns to soul searching as another reason for reading for pleasure. He says, between the age of 16 and 26, reading was central to my efforts to make something of myself, elevate my consciousness and thereby give shape to my soul. What sort of man should I be? What was the meaning of the world? As indicated earlier, reading forces us to reflect upon our relation with ourselves and the environment surrounding us. Giving shape to a soul means to chart out its prejudices, its prejudgments, to look at it closely, its preferences for venial desires, its playful teasing with evil thoughts that it promises never to do, and most importantly to compare the living self with characters in the book. The most important reading time according to Pamuk is our student years. He laments the fact often in different essays that he lives in a society that is devoid of readers. So he considers himself an outcast. But at the same time, reading is an act of rebellion. Young readers, though their ideas are incomplete, often become passionate about defending what they have read, not knowing whether the justification is right or not. But reading has an element of possessiveness of words in it. If I have spent time reading a certain book, I have spent time possessing words, they become part of my mental functioning. Therefore, this reading fervor becomes more pronounced if a person decides to become a reader at a young age. His or her passions are directed by words, and if it continues that way, then surely a Pamuk is in the making. Secondly, the memories made during young age stay with us forever, because our minds are receptive to emotions and moments in young age. Wouldn't it be better if someone comes up to you and says that the best memory of my youth is the moment I got goosebumps reading such and such a book? The third reason that makes reading pleasurable for Pamuk is self-awareness. He mentions Hust and underscores the experience of reading as binary in nature. Again, this is something unique to reading. While we read, we have the leisure of distancing ourselves from the act of reading and have a look around, experience the world, which looks as an extension of the world in the book, changed by the words swirling around in our heads, affecting the smell of coffee beside us as the same coffee that Proust took while he was writing. These transitional moments during reading are life-changing. Our imagination is used at its best while reading. We are aware of the reader and the text at the same time. We are the character of the novel and of reality at the same time. We experience the best of dualism between thought and reality during reading. We think and feel the text as an extension of our present reality, or it can also be said that we think and feel the present reality as an extension of the text. In this surreal moment, when the line between reality and fiction is blurred, Pamuk says, when we notice such things, we are at the same time savoring our solitude and the workings of our imagination, and congratulating ourselves on possessing greater depth than those who do not read. You always find a reader saying, only if you know what it means to read, only if you were a reader. These phrases are so common that non-readers consider it boasting or show off. But in reality, what the reader is trying to convey is the immeasurable experience of reading. The experience that cannot be put into words, even though it is generated through words. The power of words transcends the symbols on the pages. Pamuk alerts us to the real power of words. He says in a magnificent passage, words and the works of literature they make are like water or like ants. Nothing can penetrate into the cracks, holes, and invisible gaps of life as fast or as thoroughly as words can. It is in these cracks that the essence of things, the things that make us curious about life, about the world, can first be ascertained. And it is good literature that first reveals them. Good literature is a piece of wise counsel that has yet to be given, and as such, it has the same aura of needfulness as the latest news. That is mainly why I still depend on it. The ability of words to become balm applied to our sufferings, or to enliven a political movement, or to become a catalyst for a breakthrough idea is only restricted to a reader. Words penetrate our memories and reflections to reveal their importance for our lives. They help us understand why a particular memory sticks with us for long in place of others. Words support our mental structure. They provide us with eureka moments such that we often feel that the idea was already there. But finally, now that it is expressed by this writer, I can actually realize its importance and act on it, as if now I possess it. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, Pamuk directs our attention to the phenomenology of reading, when he says that when we read, we always, without exception, react emotionally to words. Whatever we do after reading or while reading is essentially sentimental. That is to say, that at each phrase we read, we are going through different emotions, phrase after phrase, because that is the only reaction we can have. We are addicted to reading because we want to feel the world around us, but because emotions get diluted by the repetitiveness of our daily lives. Fortunately, we still have books with us to keep us alive, to keep us humans. Thank you, everyone.